Bonsoir à tous, j'espère que vous allez bien. Bienvenue sur ce nouveau live sur la Summer Game Fest. On se retrouve aujourd'hui pour la suite de la conf Xbox. Donc alors, on va aller sur leur live. Xbox Game Showcase. Donc aujourd'hui ça va être la suite. Attendez, laissez-moi juste mettre ça comme il faut. Voilà. Tac. Ah bah c'est là-dessus directement. Donc ça commence dans 5 minutes. Et donc en fait ça sera... Vous attendez pas à un truc de ouf non plus, hein. Là ça va être la partie 2, ça va être des commentaires de dev en gros, entre autres, sur les jeux qui ont été présentés dimanche. Donc on va en apprendre un peu plus sur les jeux qui ont été présentés dimanche. Donc je sais pas s'il y aura des nouveaux trailers, mais en tout cas il y aura des nouvelles infos de la part des devs. Donc voilà. Après mais voilà, ça va durer 1h30. Ça va durer plus ou moins 1h30. Donc, à voir. Parce que c'est long 1h30 de blabla. Hein. C'est super long 1h30 de blabla. Mais on verra. Si ça se trouve, ça va être sympa. Parce que là, du coup, pour rappel, ce qui a été annoncé dimanche, il y a eu. Alors, ce que je me rappelle, il y a eu du Scorn, il y a eu du Starfield surtout. Starfield, c'était le gros truc. Il y a eu du Forza Horizon 5, il y a eu du Forza Motorsport, il y a eu du Redfall, il y a eu du. Il y a un jeu à la Rick et Morty et tout avec des flingues chelous, ça a l'air sympa ça. J'ai oublié le nom. Et quoi d'autre? Il y avait. C'est plus le nom que je me rappelle. Je me rappelle pas des autres. Si, il y a eu une cinématique pour Arc 2, mais encore une fois rien du tout. Pas de gameplay. Voilà. Il y a Kojima qui a apparu d'un coup, on sait pas où, on sait pas d'où. Mais bon. Donc là, est-ce qu'on va voir des nouveautés? Non, pas des nouveautés, mais des nouveautés au niveau des jeux qu'on a déjà présentés, qu'ils ont déjà été présentés, ou est-ce que enfin je veux dire, est-ce qu'il y aura des nouveaux trailers, ou est-ce que il y aura du gameplay? Est-ce que là il parle de Minecraft Legends par exemple, Deep Dive en général ils disent ça quand c'est les devs qui viennent parler du jeu et qui jouent. Alors soit ils jouent en même temps, soit ils montrent du gameplay en même temps. Interview de Bethesda de Pete Hines, je sais pas qui c'est. Aucune idée. Mais bref. Évidemment, ce que tout le monde attend, c'est d'avoir plus d'infos sur Starfield. Bien sûr, toujours. Mais ah oui, il y avait eu GoldenEye 007 aussi qui avait été montré. J'étais ultra déçu. Hein. Ça a pas l'air ouf. Hein. Le remake là, c'était pas un remake. Hein. On aurait dit le jeu original. Le jeu il a pu être très bien à l'époque. Je sais pas, j'ai pas joué. Mais aujourd'hui ça passe pas ça. Donc bref. Il y a eu juste avant, à 18h, une petite conf d'Assassin's Creed. J'ai hésité à la stream, mais finalement c'était une bonne idée de pas le faire parce que en fait ça a duré 5 minutes. Et c'est juste pour nous dire rendez-vous en septembre pour avoir des infos sur Assassin's Creed. Voilà, c'était juste pour ça. Je résume hein, parce qu'il y a eu 2-3 trucs en plus, mais rien de bien fou. Donc c'était vraiment que ça. va voir, donc dans 1 minute 20. Donc il y aura du As Dusk Falls, je sais plus ce que c'est ça. J'ai oublié. Et donc là c'est la dernière conférence de la Summer Game Fest. Alors apparemment il y aurait un Nintendo Direct le 29 juin, donc dans 2 semaines. Mais alors c'est une rumeur à prendre avec d'énormes pincettes là, parce que c'est pas... Enfin, c'est quelqu'un apparemment qui avait dit que normalement il y avait un Nintendo Direct demain et finalement il n'y avait pas demain, donc bon, déjà il s'est trompé une fois. On verra. Par contre j'espère qu'il ne faut pas juste balancer les mêmes trailers. Hein. J'espère quand même qu'il y a plus de trucs, parce que là s'il faut quand même 1h30 de nouvelles confs en fait. En plus c'est la dernière conf de la Summer Game Fest. J'espère qu'ils ont préparé quand même un truc pas mal. Allez, on y va, c'est parti. Des secondes avant de... Attends, je vérifie juste si y a pas du... Oh merde. J'ai oublié de réactiver le son.
Hey, we are a small snippet of...
Je vais relancer. OBS.
Game Showcase extended.
You know, oh, Game Showcase extended. What's the need for the extended? That extra word.
It's like
is there one that's not extended? And that's why?
we're getting nods. There is a
Ça commence mal, hein, ça commence mal là.
And that one's just called
Oh là là, les
without the
blagues
extended.
cons là comme ça là, putain.
So that's just called
There's the normal one. I know what this is.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, we're happy to be a part of it nonetheless.
Ah, c'est marrant. Allez. Ah, donc il y aura quand même de nouveaux trailers. Non, c'est trailer ça? Dernière conf. Ah non. Bon, il y aura du Starfield. Il y aura ce jeu là qui avait l'air bien, mais je sais plus ce que c'est. Bon, j'espère qu'il y aura des trucs intéressants quand même. Wow, chute, non, c'est toi. Ah, il y a eu du Plague Tale Requiem aussi. C'est vrai. Bon, là, on balance les mêmes trailers, donc... Évidemment qu'il va y avoir du Sea of Thieves. Il y a eu les jeux LoL sur mobile. Ah oui, il y a le jeu là en voxel qui avait l'air vraiment cool. J'ai bien aimé la DA. Mais pareil, j'ai oublié comment ça s'appelle. Celui-là, c'est celui de Rick et Morty là. Ah, c'est pas Rick et Morty, hein, mais c'est par les créateurs de Rick et Morty. Ouais, on est parti.
Game Showcase Extended. I'm
Bienvenue dans
Erin,
Xbox
this
Game
is
Showcase.
Malik, and we have the honor of diving deeper into some of the most exciting and talked about announcements, as well as gameplay from the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase
D'accord,
just
donc il y aura
2
du
days
gameplay.
ago. For the
Il y aura
first
du
time
gameplay.
ever, the entire
Nouveau
showcase
gameplay.
was focused
Ah, c'est
on
cool, ça.
games you can play over the next 12 months.
That's right, Aaron. You saw world premiere gameplay from Redfall and Starfield, and today we've got Bethesda's own Pete Hines right here to tell us more. You'll hear from the renowned developers behind the brand new Xbox franchise, Our History Untold. Dive into Naraka Blade Point with our partners at NetEase Games, and so much more.
But first, we begin with a special look at how our fans got to celebrate the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase with a message from our very own Phil Spencer.
C'est Spencer qui balance un message.
I love coming to events like this. You can just feel the energy, people loving to come together as a community, their love of video games, the Xbox fans. Just a really special time for everybody, myself included. Gaming has this unique ability to bring people together, whether it's saving the world from the aliens or winning a football game. It's so great. I love hearing from people. What did you like in the show? Those conversations with people that are here about areas that they like and areas they wish we would do more, I think that's something that drives us. You saw it in the show today. People said, we want to see more gameplay. And so we said, okay, great. You're going to see a ton of gameplay.
Yeah, you know, I think this is our biggest lineup ever in terms of just diversity of
Par contre, ouais, ce que j'ai bien aimé, c'est le fait qu'il y a eu beaucoup de gameplay. Il y a eu vraiment beaucoup de gameplay de tous les jeux quasiment. C'est vrai qu'il y a encore quelques années, ils avaient balancé des trailers full cinématiques et tout. C'est très bien qu'ils aient changé ça parce que ça soulève. Au final, le jeu était totalement différent de la cinématique et c'était le plus souvent une déception. Là, au moins, il y a beaucoup de gameplay. Là, t'as pas niqué sur le. Mais Starfield, ok, il y a eu un teaser l'année dernière, mais bon. Voilà, c'est un teaser et le jeu ça fait pas tout de suite, donc pourquoi pas. Et là, voilà, là, il y a eu du vrai gameplay et tout, ils ont balancé juste une grosse cinématique pour faire genre. Console launch exclusive. Ah, ok, donc il y aura des trucs, il y aura des nouveaux trucs. Mais c'est Valheim ça, non? Ah, bah, du coup, on connaît déjà. C'est Valheim sur console donc. Ok. Mais du coup, ça me rassure, ça veut dire qu'ils vont montrer vraiment des nouveaux trucs. Ok, donc il n'y aura pas que du blabla de dev. Mais c'est bien, c'est bien. Franchement. Après, bon, ça reste, c'est Valheim. Hein, c'est Valheim. Tout le monde a déjà joué sur PC. Mais du coup ça veut dire ouais il y aura des nouveaux jeux donc. Parce que celui-là il a pas été montré dimanche. Hein. Donc ça veut dire qu'il y aura des nouveaux jeux là. En tout cas des nouvelles annonces. Ouais, c'était pas. Après, des nouveaux jeux, bon, là c'est pas vraiment un nouveau jeu, ils sont déjà sortis sur PC depuis un moment, mais là c'est plus, ouais, il arrive sur Game Pass quoi. Ok.
Bethesda opened the showcase with a dramatic gameplay demo for Redfall and closed it with Todd Howard showing us how deep the rabbit hole goes on Starfield.
Bethesda ils étaient chauds avec Redfall au début et Starfield à la fin.
Expansions for Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. Here to break it all down for us is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Pete Hines from Bethesda. Pete, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So about a month ago, you all announced some delays for both Redfall and Starfield. So I wanted to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about the decision-making process for that.
Absolutely. Look, with all the time that goes
Merde, désolé.
door before it's ready, I think we have continued to sort of examine how we think about games and making sure that they are going to meet our players' expectations. Obviously, the last 2 years have really challenged us from a development standpoint. How we work now largely remotely, while a lot of our folks are not back in the office. And, you know, that has an impact. I also think we've been thinking about things like release dates and when do we give those out and how do we make sure we give one out that we actually hit and don't have to change later. So it's not something we undertake lightly, but at the end of the day, I think what our fans expect, what Xbox fans, what Bethesda fans expect is a high quality game, and we want to do everything we can to give our teams the time to fully realize the games they're making.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's all about, right? Like delivering an amazing experience for the players out there. And so, speaking of games, we're just going to jump into it. We're going to start with how the showcase started with
Sounds good.
Redfall. Now, before we get into the game, Arcane's making the game, and I want you to talk a little bit about the pedigree of Arcane, just in case people don't know.
Sure.
These folks over there, they're doing their thing.
Arcane Studios is known for really amazing, immersive sims. They do any number of things. If you play games of theirs, Dishonored, Dishonored 2, Prey, there's a lot of common threads you'll find in them. They create really amazing, believable worlds. I think that's a big part of their game is when you're in Dunwall or you're up on a space station in Prey, that it feels believable. There's a reason why things are the way they are. They're also a big believers in systems-based as opposed to scripted. So they really embrace player freedom and sort of giving players the tools to decide, you figure out how you want to complete this mission or get through this area. We're not going to tell you how. We're just going to give you tools and then give you the freedom to go and do. But, you know, there's great characters and interesting story. They bring a lot of different elements and then really let the player create the experience they want.
And that's what it's all about. Gamers have taken many games and made it their own. And I think the fact that Arcane is making a game with that in mind is super important. Now, how similar or dissimilar would you say this game, Redfall, is from the other Arcane games?
Look, on the surface, it's a first-person shooter that you can play solo or with, you know, up to 4 players, and so immediately you might say, well, it's not a single-player game, so it must be wildly different. And don't get me wrong, there's absolutely ways in which it is different. But when folks play the game, and even when they see more of the game, I think they'll start to see all of those things about an Arcane game that they love and appreciate. You know, why it's won multiple Action Game of the Year awards for Dishonored, for Dishonored 2, is their ability to bring all of those things together, really high level of polish, and let folks experience it. And so I think all of those things we talked about. If you want to play a game by yourself and get a great Arcane story, you can absolutely do that in Redfall. But you can also do things that you haven't been able to do in an Arcane game, like experience it with friends and find out sort of how the whole can become greater than the sum of the parts, like playing it off of each character's abilities. You saw some of that in the demo that we showed. You know, I think the more that people appreciate that, you almost are going to want to try and play Redfall a couple of different ways. You might want to play it by yourself a little bit, play it with others, and it's a game that allows you to do either or both of those things, however you see fit.
I'm glad you talked about playing with friends, because I'm taking applications for friends to help me get through Redfall.
Can I put my name on that list? I'm down to a little...
It'd be an honor. Pete,
keep me on that list.
All right,
we need to go explore Redfall together.
I'm excited. I can't wait for that. And so let's talk a little bit more about the game. Now, you know, between the trailer that we saw last year at the reveal, as well as this one that we just saw, I feel like Redfall reminded players of other co-op shooters like Left 4 Dead, for example. What makes Redfall unique?
Again, it's one of those things, like if you watch just like combat footage, you might look at Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or any of these things and go, oh, I see multiple characters facing a bunch of enemies, and like, so it's the same game. But I think that would be doing a disservice, that it's all of the things that take place in between the combat as well as the combat itself, sort of combining different skills and abilities in the way that you do, you know, Layla dropping down an elevator using her powers that Jacob can use to get up top on a roof and provide cover. You know, you have different characters who play roles really well, how you choose to use Brebone, the robot. All of those things come into, again, allowing the players not to say, here's a set of rules and you can only use, like, no, here's just some stuff that you can go off into this amazing sort of dynamic, ever-changing world and sort of experience and explore for yourself. And you come back the next day and it'll look and feel like a different experience, even though you're in the exact same part of the game. I mean, I think those are the kinds of things that Arcane does that really bring that sort of extra special element that makes their game so compelling.
Yeah, compelling and fresh. So I'm excited for Redfall, and you said it here for everyone to see that we're going to be playing together. So I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
You got the proof. All right.
Can't wait.
Oh, awesome. So let's talk about Elder Scrolls Online. Now, I want to talk about the team philosophy, because I hear that the team is actually banned from saying things like, now is the perfect time to play.
My least favorite saying is there's never been a better time to play a game. Like, we all say that. Yes, games always get better. We know that. The thing that we love about where Elder Scrolls Online is going is their ability to continually refresh the experience for players, provide new experiences, like going to High Isle, a place they've never been in an Elder Scrolls game. It does a lot of things like story and intrigue. There's a lot of politics in High Isle, different factions and the conflict that's going on there. And again, a way that you can jump in and play by yourself and experience it by yourself, even though it's an MMO, but the real special sauce of Elder Scrolls Online is our amazing community. They're so welcoming. They're so helpful. You know, if you need a little bit of help, if you need a lot of help, they're there for you to help explain, to, you know, to make sure you have a fun experience. And honestly, like, that is such a huge part for an online game of creating an environment where anybody, no matter whether you just started playing or you've been playing for 8 years, can have a good experience no matter how you decide to engage with it.
I love that you mentioned that. Community is such a, as you mentioned, is such a huge part of any online game. And so for players who may not have played Elder Scrolls, who are, like you said, looking to jump in, to know that they have that community backing them, that's going to help them, guide them in their journey, is super exciting. So, but I want to talk about Fallout a little bit.
Okay.
Huge milestone recently, 25 years of Fallout. It can rent a car even now. At this point, right? We're talking about it. All right, so this has to mean something super special to the team.
Absolutely, and look, we are as aware of anybody. Like, this franchise did not start with Bethesda. It's one that we took on along the way, and our intent is not just to pay homage to, like, Bethesda Fallout. Like, no, we mean all Fallout, because what this series has done, what it meant to us as players when we went and played those games, played the original Fallout, Fallout 2. And then what the franchise has become, and sort of growing and finding an even, you know, a new audience with Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 76 is something we really want to celebrate. And honestly, you know, what's going on in Fallout 76 with the pit and your ability to continue to push the boundaries in an online game of story and meaningful player choice, and as you're going along, making decisions that kind of matter and have a real impact, I think is important in the evolution of Fallout 76. And just honestly, how far that game has come from its launch. Like, we're keenly aware of how that launch went, but we are also keenly aware of the incredible amount of effort and dedication from all of our teams across Bethesda to say, like, we believe in this thing, and we want to give the fans more of what they want and the kind of experiences that they want. And where Fallout 76 is now is truly remarkable when you go back and look at sort of where we were and how far we've come, and honestly, how much cool stuff is in store in the pit. It's going to be super fun.
Excited to jump in, and again, that's one of those things that I'm sure you guys attribute to the community, giving that feedback.
You know, that 76 community, again, not just in the game, but what they do for each other, to support other folks in the community, what they have done to raise funds for worthwhile causes. Like, it's not just an amazing group of gamers, it's an amazing group of human beings, and honestly, one that we're honored to interact with and be a part of every day.
I love that, Pete. Before you make me cry, we're going to move on to Starfield, all right?
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about it. Starfield ended the show. I got to say, watching the trailer, breathtaking. It's one of those things from the different locations, and just seeing the difference between that moon versus the populated city, just amazing. The dog fighting, just everything was so awesome. The team really outdid themselves.
It's one of those things about a Bethesda Studios game that I always love, and it's been the case, honestly, since, you know, I worked on Morrowind and Oblivion and all those games that, you know, we talked about. And for every single one, you cannot pin people down to, oh, it's about this, because it's not. Like, ultimately what those games are massive sandboxes where they give players just ridiculous amounts of freedom to say, you go figure out what kind of game you want to play and what kind of experience you want to have, because that's what this game is about. It's not us prescribing and saying, you have to do these things. And, like, no, it's about creating this huge sandbox with over 1,000 planets, so you can completely explore and say, yeah, but you don't have to. Like, it's entirely up to you to figure out what is fun for me. Do I want story? Do I want to join factions? Do I want to, you know, build outposts and gather resources to build more cool stuff? The team really puts all of those tools in the player's hands and step back and says, now it's time for you to tell the story of Starfield, which is your story, which is going to be different than mine, which is going to be different than everybody else's. And I think that's really where the magic of a Bethesda Game Studios game happens.
Speaking about the scope of everything, Todd said this is what an epic RPG is. What does Bethesda define an epic RPG as?
I think, again, it's sort of leaning into, look, there's a lot of folks who take a lot of different approaches on what does an open world mean. And Bethesda Game Studios always pushes themselves to the most freedom and least limitations, right? Where the items in the world are all real things. You walk into a store and there's a bunch of weapons or whatever. Like, that's not just art on a countertop. Like, you could pick those up. You could steal them and run out of it. You can create chaos. Like, we don't want to put too many limits on what the player is or isn't allowed to do. We love it when players say, I wonder what happens if and then they try it, and then they get to see like, oh my Lord, chaos ensued and it was insanity. Everybody was shooting at me, and like that's, I think, the beauty of Bethesda Game Studios and the number of ways that they push for you to explore that, right? It's not just one, it's you could spend thousands of hours doing nothing but shipbuilding and like focus that as all you're about, and that's okay. But you could also be about exploring every planet and finding all of the good, and that's okay. Or you could just play the main story and be like, I want a kind of experience that I'm guided through so that I kind of get to see stuff, and I might stop here and there. Oh, there's a cool side quest that I got, but you know, I want something that sort of leads me through because I'm a little, you know, it can be a little daunting to say you can go do whatever I want. Like, ooh, I don't know what I should do. So some folks want a little bit of a guided path or to understand where the fun is, and no approach is wrong. Like for me, that's epic because it says we aren't putting any limits on what you can or can't do. We're going to set you loose and just sit back and watch the beauty that you create with your own stories and the way that you solve problems or choose to spend your time in this world we've created.
I love that. And you know, what you said about, you know, those moments that maybe you experience that I don't, like those are some of the best moments if I think back to playing RPGs when I'm discussing with my friends, oh, did you see that? No, I didn't see that. Where did you see it? And having them go out and find it. So I think that's going to be one of those things.
We talk about that a lot, that sort of water cooler moment.
Exactly.
Of like you come in the next day and you talk to everybody about what you did, and you were like, wait, I did that quest, but I did this completely different thing. And you sort of start to appreciate all of the choices that you could have made. You didn't even realize were an option. Like, oh, I didn't even think about doing that. Like, oh yeah, I just ran in and stole his ship and shot all of his crew members and took off. Like, you can do that? Like, oh yeah, you can do anything. Like that, I think that is a special part of a Bethesda Game Studios game. And when we say epic RPG, we mean all of the stories, all of them.
All right, you just gave me some ideas for stealing people's ships, so I appreciate that. That's going to be top on the list to do in Starfield. Now, we saw quite a bit of combat and action in the game. That seems to also be, in addition to exploring and everything, that seems to be another huge focus of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, look, if you look at a game like Skyrim, which, like, everybody's played Skyrim at this point. It can, you know, combat is a big part of that. Unless you decide it's not. Like if you're one of those folks that says, actually, I'm going to do the alchemy thing, and I just go off and pick flowers and make potions and like live another life in another world this way, then combat isn't part of it. But look, we know in an epic RPG, there's always bad people, they, you know, shooting at you. Sometimes you got to return fire, and there's a lot of fun to be had there. And so, you know, providing a lot of different skills that sort of determine how good you are in combat, combined with all the different weapons in the game, and then you layer in ship combat and all of these other things, it starts to sort of paint a picture of just how broad or how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It's going to be so impressive. And you touched on it a little bit, and I want to talk about it because this was when I'm watching the video, the demo, what I saw, and it really caught my eyes around the ship. It's not just getting in the ship and that's your ship. There's so much behind it. Can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, like every ship is customizable to the nth degree, and not just like cosmetically. I want my ship to look like this or look like that, though obviously that's totally a thing that you could do if all you care about is cosmetics. But it goes much deeper than that in terms of like what kind of shields you have, what kind of weapons you have, like what kind of ship are you building? What do you want it to be good at? What trade-offs are you willing to make or not? And then the other part of it is, of course, well, you can't just, like, it's a spaceship. Those aren't cheap. So you have to figure out, like, how am I going to do this? Where do I get the resources to build this stuff? What kind of, you know, skills do I need to level up to improve different parts of my ship beyond, you know, what I could do without those skills? So there's a lot of, again, choices in terms of you get to decide that, how much you want to put into that or not. Do you just want to give somebody money for the parts that you want? Do you want to build it? All of those things are sort of part of the fun of deciding how much do you want to interact with this and how do you want to interact with it.
Absolutely. I mean, just as you mentioned, the scope, the level of player agency, something that I feel like is going to just make Starfield such a special experience. So between Redfall, ESO, Fallout 76, and Starfield, you all are just killing the game.
Yeah, we got a few games coming out.
It's going to be so great. Pete, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, Pete.
Okay,
now, coming up, we'll hear from our friends around the world, including Squanch Games, Obsidian Entertainment, Playground Games, and of course, Xbox fans like you. But first, let's hear from the creators of one of the world's most popular Battle Royale games.
Ouf. Ouf. On aura qu'à Blade Point. Battle Royale. Il vient de dire que c'est l'un des Battle
We are
Royale les
glad
plus
to
joués.
share Naraka Blade
Je me
Point,
suis dit Fortnite.
a unique
No, Naraka.
online multiplayer action game with players all around the globe. As a NetEase studio, 24 Entertainment is joining hands with Microsoft to bring Naraka Blade Point to consoles for the first time.
Ah, incroyable.
You could play the game on Xbox Series X and S, as well as Windows next week. We're also joining Xbox Game Pass, a platform with a huge player base and a vast, bright future. Naraka has been so well received on the PC platform. I am so grateful to the players for their love and support.
C'était gratuit parce que c'est pas gratuit.
As a competitive survival game incorporating a lot of action elements,
No,
Naraka
Battle Royale qui est
features
pas
a range
gratuit,
of characters with unique personalities.
Si tu veux te battre dans
Each
le jeu, là.
hero draws from different civilizations and cultures. Battles allow for a great degree of strategic play. You've got a wealth of melee and ranged weapons to choose from, and a vast map filled with interactive elements to explore. Perhaps you'll engage your foes in samurai combat, katanas at the ready, or maybe you'll use Persian assassin techniques and strike from afar.
Après, le concept
With
elle
your
a pas mal en
grappling
plus.
hook,
Hein.
you can fly between temple
Oh,
walls
vraiment, il est bon.
and across bamboo forests with ease. Beyond solo endeavors, you can also party up with friends and use group tactics to flatten your foes. That's Naraka's underlying design philosophy, that you're unchained and have the freedom to choose how you play. Collect soul jades to change how you play, transform your katana strikes, and make your cannon a weapon of mass destruction. Each hero can be customized too, whether you want to rush into battle as a berserker warrior or cast fireballs as a sorcerer. The choice is yours. We can't
Du coup, ça veut
forget to
dire
mention our
qu'ils ont
unique
déjà
face
dégagé Bethesda
customization
avec
system too.
le mec qui parlait et
You'll
tout et qui.
never need to
En fait, le mec,
worry about
il a rien
running
appris de
into a
nouveau.
doppelganger
Ils a rien
on the
appris de nouveau, à
battlefield,
part Redfall éventuellement.
because you're
Il
able
dit
to
qu'on
edit
aurait
your
pu jouer en
hero's
solo.
features
Mais à part
to your heart's
ça,
content. You can even recreate your favorite faces.
tu peux pas.
As we approach Naraka's first launch anniversary, we're
Tu peux
introducing a
pas.
brand new weapon,
Ah, il a rien dit quoi.
Twin Blades.
Il a dit
Releasing
ouais, tu vas
together
avoir,
with
on va avoir
the
beaucoup de
Xbox
choix dans
and Game
Starfield,
Pass
mais.
editions.
Bah ouais, on s'en doutait
Twin
quoi.
blades strike with the speed
bon,
of a
du coup,
raging
il a pas dit grand chose en
tempest
fait.
and sweeping blows.
Quitte à
We've seen
venir,
similar
quitte
weapons
à
in other games,
faire du blabla, autant dire
But
quelque
here
chose.
in
Là, il a rien
Naraka,
dit.
it comes with a
pense que-
style all its own.
Et je pense que là, ça va.
Charging up strikes
Là, ils
is
vont concentrer
usually
sur les
a
autres devs.
high risk, high reward move. With the twin blades, you can charge up while moving and keep your momentum as you unleash a flurry of
Par contre,
combos on foes.
On s'en fout de ça.
Since its
Non, mais
release,
je suis désolé, mais c'est
Naraka
bon,
Blade
ça
Point
va,
has launched its
Naraka,
own
là,
faction clash game mode with Omni's Nightmare and the thrilling limited time mode Shadow Surge. There have been many casual modes to play as
Le
well,
seul jeu multi que je joue,
but
c'est.
our community has
C'est comment ça
eagerly
s'appelle?
asked for a
C'est
campaign
Magic.
mode.
Magic Arena et.
We're always listening to our player base,
Et
and we're happy to
Trackmania.
announce that the wait is
C'est le seul jeu
over.
multi que je joue. Et de temps en
Players will
temps,
see the first chapter
une fois
of
par
our
an,
campaign mode.
je joue à
Form teams
F14.
of 3 to take on new enemy types and massive bosses. Disarming a boss won't be as easy as disarming another player though. PvP and campaign mode are two entirely different games. Further campaign chapters are also in the works, so we're eager to hear any feedback you have for us. We are also working on an Xbox One version and hope to see more players join Naraka later this year. Naraka is launching on Xbox Series X and S and Windows Store on June 23rd, and it's included with Game Pass at launch day. Now's your chance to dive into the world of Naraka Blade Point.
快来体验我生无拘吧！
Ouais, c'est bien qu'il y ait quand même plus d'infos sur des jeux qui ont déjà été présentés, vu que bah. Vu qu'on a eu le trailer, on a pas forcément mais s'ils sont. Bien sûr, on a aucune info celui-là. On a eu ce trailer là, mais on sait pas trop. Alors on sait que c'est un test, mais à part ça, il n'y a pas eu de gameplay là, il y a juste une systématique c'est là.
How would you reshape the world? What new stories would you tell? And when your people speak, would you listen?
Ça va être un genre de civilisation.
How would you lead them in this new
Ah oui, c'est pas voir les mecs qui ont fait civilisation ou... Ah, je sais plus. Il a peut-être de la merde. J'ai pas vu qui était celui qui a fait ça.
History is filled with moments of greatness. But these will be yours.
Mais du coup, il remonte le même trailer. On a déjà vu ça. On a déjà vu ce truc. David Dewan with Game Pass. Comme d'hab, comme tous les jeux qui sont présentés, j'ai
I'm
l'impression.
excited to welcome our friends from Oxide Games for a closer look at their historical grand strategy game for PC called Ara History Untold. Dan, Michelle, thank you two for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
And on behalf of the entire studio, we are really excited to be here and finally be able to talk about Ara.
I mean, we all are excited too. You just had the world premiere 2 days ago for Ara, and I have to say, I'm a really big history fan. I love me some history, so I've been looking forward to talking to you two about this. Now, we all know this is not your first strategy game, but the vision behind Ara is so ambitious. So tell us more about it, and also for those who are new to Oxide Games, we would love to hear more about the studio as well.
So Oxide Games was founded 9.5 years ago in my basement, actually, from the development leads of Civilization V. And our goal is to push strategy games to the next level.
And what's really great about working on a new IP is that you don't have kind of these previous expectations that a sequel would have. And so the sky really was the limit, and we got to really take the genre to a new space. And we really hope that not only will fans of strategy games like this, but people who've never played a strategy game before will find something they love as well.
You're absolutely taking it to the next level. I think I saw like a drone was in like the 18th century or something like that. It's very fascinating. And I think that like, if you're someone who really enjoys history, it's bringing like all of the worlds together, all the periods of time together. And that's a grand vision in itself. So how does the vision of Ara impact the player experience within the game?
Ça va être un genre de jeu.
So one of the kind of big things we wanted to do with Ara was really explore how to make the game less about finding that optimal strategy, that optimal path, and really bring in ways to make it more meaningful to the player, make it unique to themselves. So what are different kinds of choices we can bring to the player so that when you play, it's different than when I play, and yet we can both be competitive together? How can we do things to really impact agency and expression and really let you express your values and your play styles through the different mechanics in the product?
And Dan, what about you? How does the vision impact the overall experience?
So one of the big things that we've been working on is what we call the living world. We wanted the expression of the game to manifest itself in a way that felt authentic and cool. So we've spent a lot of effort on making sure that the choices that you make are expressed in a visual way. And so you're going to see your citizens doing things that reflect the choices that you've made. And this is actually really challenging. So one of the goals when we founded Oxide was to not have to tell the designers, no, you can't do that thing. And so the game is obviously huge. It's just massive. And so it's a very large technological constraint from doing something like that. But we have our own proprietary engine that allows us to really bring this alternate Earth to life.
I think that's the beauty, right? Because in history, the great thing about learning history is that you learn about culture, you learn about stories, you learn about things that are probably brand new to your eyes. But the way that Ara helps you remix, reimagine, and rewrite history is a beautiful sight to see. And I'm excited to get my hands on it, and I'm sure everyone else is who's watching. So let us know, where can we learn more about it, and when can we get our hands on it? Because I need it today.
So if you head over to the website, you can sign up for the Insider program, which will give you a chance to join the technical alpha and play the game later this summer, which is super exciting because we've been playing it, all the time, and so now you'll have a chance to play.
Dan, Michelle, thank you two so much for giving us the lowdown on Ara. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Grounded is finally leaving early access and moving into full release with a highly anticipated story mode. Here's Adam Brennicke and Eric Dorabella from Obsidian Entertainment to tell us more.
Donc apparemment ce jeu-là qui était en Early Access, et là du coup c'est plus en Early Access.
What can players expect from the 1.0 launch of Grounded?
The big one, of course, is going to be a complete game, and that means story, right? From beginning to end, you can play through, why are you here? Who put you here?
Yeah, exactly.
And how are you going to get home? And I think those are like the big questions that people are asking about Grounded. Originally, we really just wanted to make a survival game. And one of the jokes was, hey, what if we did backyard survival? Everyone was like, yeah, that's a very unusual idea, but I think there's something there. One of the things that we did early on was establish the art style of Grounded. Things started like coming to life as we did the initial prototypes and like seeing some of the cool things, like the first time we added like the spider into the yard, seeing the reactions of people in the office, like even like jump scares, like people screaming. The team is very small. It's the smallest team I've ever worked on at Obsidian. I wanted everyone to be able to participate on the design side of things. So I said everyone is a designer on the team. And I think that extends into our community and how we're building the game in game preview and early access.
That's probably one of the big successes of the game, is how close we work with the community and take all their feedback and suggestions. I think it's super rad.
For a game developer too, that is a huge, huge thing, just to get people's feedback constantly of what they're liking, what they're not liking. And all those adjustments just make a much, much better game at the end of the day. We're at that point now that the yard's getting finished, and now we can play through the story. There's a lot of surprises. There's a lot of things that I think players aren't going to expect. And I
think I know what you're talking about. I cannot wait to see players' reactions. I know a lot of players are just waiting for the story to be finished to finally jump into the game. People who played the game previously are also like holding out for more content. I think it's just going to pull a lot of people back in and gain a lot of new players. So Adam, we have the Broodmother, and last year was like our first big boss. And we came out with a bunch of mini bosses like
Termite King,
and the Assistant Manager. But in this trailer, we're showing players the Mantis. What can they expect from this?
So we're super excited to finally show off the Mantis. I know that's been a big ask from players that they want to see a praying mantis in the game.
They've been asking for this for a long time. Do we have anything else that the players can get excited about?
You know, the mantis is just a little tease of one of the new boss fights, but there's more to come, right? Like potentially many boss fights that we have planned for the full release of Grounded. There's a lot more secrets and other things to uncover.
When we reached 5 million players, that was already super crazy. And then we hit the next milestone of 10 million players still being Xbox.
Doubling it, right?
Yeah, in Xbox Game Preview Early Access.
That just goes to show that we have a fantastic game. Everyone's just so surprised at like how
ça peut être sympa, mais
le
problème c'est que c'est du multi encore.
I just hope that players and the community understand how important they are and impactful on this game with us.
We're so thankful for everyone's support along the way. It's been an amazing journey, and we're finally almost at the finish line, right?
Yeah.
And I think we wouldn't be here without our amazing community and all of the fan support.
I agree. Best community ever. Yeah.
So I got a call from my good friend York Newman, the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator. He told me it was imperative that I meet with him. So I'm in this helicopter, we're flying to this location, we're on our way, let's go.
On va rentrer, je sais pas qui, pour Partie maintenant.
York! Hey, Paris, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming to DC, man.
No, thank you. What am I doing here?
Later. Let's get in. We don't have much time.
Oh, okay.
All right, Paris, right across the Potomac. That's where our contact is.
Are we headed towards Arlington?
It's still secret. I'm sorry.
York, what is this place?
Oh, you'll see. Let's go. Nick, how's it going?
Hello.
Paris, I would like to introduce Nick Partridge from the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum.
Thank you for having me. but this makes a lot of sense. I saw during the trailer there was a collaboration between the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum and Flight Simulator. Here we are at the National Air and Space Museum. So let's talk about that collaboration. Tell me more about that.
Well, Jorg and I have been talking for more than a year. He was looking for me, and it turns out I was looking for him to ask the same question, which was, don't you think that our organizations have a lot in common? Dedicated to bringing flight to everyone, and
là, ça va,
I was looking for the Spirit of St. Louis, which is in the Smithsonian ever since 1928, and the Smithsonian was gracious enough to give us a millimeter perfect scan, which is what we'll feature in the 40th anniversary edition. But as Nick and I kept talking, it was very clear, you know, the world's foremost museum for air and space, the Smithsonian, and Microsoft celebrating its 40th anniversary. It's a match made in heaven. There's lots of things we can do.
Yeah, authenticity, accuracy, access, it's all there. We're hoping that if everyone has as much fun in the community with the content that we initially collaborated on, a couple of our most historic aircraft, and some of the other aircraft in the center are already in the simulator, maybe we can jump in with both feet and do more in the years to come. Maybe even, who knows, we'll go crazy. We'll put the space shuttle in there.
Mais ouais, non, y a pas de...
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Si, on a appris un peu plus sur le jeu de leur civilisation.
So, keep your eyes peeled, stick together, and Jorg, I've got something special for you right around here. Perfect.
Check this out. This is my favorite plane, the Junkers 52 3-motor. Amazing.
And that is an awesome plane. And as I look at all these planes around here, it makes me ask the question, are you going to put all of them in Flight Sim?
Maybe not all of them, but we hope a lot of them. In the 40th anniversary that comes out this fall, we already have 3. We have the Wright Flyer, the Spirit of St. Louis, and the DC-3. And we hope to get a few more. As Nick and I were talking, there's a lot of things we could do.
Yeah, we started with the most iconic ones, and who knows? There's no lack of opportunity.
You know, I keep saying amazing because this place is amazing, and just like Flight Sim, it just keeps going. So what else is happening?
It does seem like we're going supersonic, like the Concorde here. We've been doing a major update ever since we launched, every month since August 2020. And just today, we're actually launching World Update 10. And guess what?
Tell me.
It's the United States, and it's huge. We have a dozen cities, a new height field, brand new aerials, new missions, new airports, new everything. And as always, it's free. And check out this beauty. This is the Beechcraft Model 18. They call it the Twin Beach. It's a famous plane, and that's also launching today. And it's a great coincidence.
It's actually a huge coincidence. Jorg's been working on that Beechcraft since before we met, but it's a great example of how much we already have in common.
Il parle des nouveaux avions qui vont mettre dans Flight Simulator.
What can we expect the rest of the year from Flight Sim?
We have a ton of great things coming up. So today is World Update 10. We have 2 more World Updates, one in August and one in October. And then in November,
comme ça je pourrais le remonter après pour pusher ou quoi. Sinon là, à chaque fois j'entends une sorte de monter et baisser à chaque conf et quand je reviens sur les jeux, je remonte à chaque fois. C'est drôle.
The planes from the old sims, like from Flight Sim 10, 9, 8, even before that, and we're restoring some of the old missions, and we're bringing back some of the airports that were in those editions. So it's a real celebration of the franchise.
So this celebration is not only of the franchise, but the past as well.
Force dans le ciel en fait.
Adding brand new things on top of it.
Bah ouais, bah c'est un simulateur d'avion, hein. Simulateur de vol. D'où le nom en fait. Parce que t'as compris, Flight Simulator, simulateur de vol. Je sais pas si c'était clair.
And then the last one is we're bringing, it's the biggest deal for simmers, a brand new real-to-life airliner, the A310 from Airbus, by a brand new partner called Inibuilds, a great development team.
Je comprends pas l'intérêt. Honnêtement, à moins que tu sois vraiment hyper fan d'avion, genre pilote, tu vois. À la limite, pourquoi pas. Mais à part ça, je comprends pas l'intérêt. Après, bon, c'est la même chose pour Farming Simulator ou d'autres Euro Truck Simulator. Être simulateur tracteur, goat. En football, t'as FIFA depuis le début. T'as FIFA et PES. Enfin, eFootball et. Je sais plus, ils ont changé de nom aussi, FIFA. Je sais plus comment ça s'appelle. Mais ils ont changé de nom.
Today was a good day. But now, I have a need for speed.
Nickel.
I'm headed to the danger zone, baby.
Mais c'est bizarre qu'ils aient passé aussi peu de temps sur les gros jeux genre Starfield et Redfall en fait. Genre, le mec il a rien dit, il est juste venu dire ce qu'on savait déjà. Franchement. J'aimerais bien avoir plus d'infos, c'est le jeu en voxel là, qui avait l'air pas mal. Et le jeu avec les armes à Rick et Morty là. Pourquoi il monte ça? On s'en fout. Oh, c'est incroyable. Muy bien, muy bien. Allez, passez à la suite. Ah bah Kojima, oui, je veux voir des infos aussi sur le jeu de Kojima.
Why gaming? Just a passion. Son experiencias únicas. Me ofrecen algo que no encuentro en otro lado. Lo que te digo, es como una familia para mí.
Me ha parecido genial y un cierre para un evento así maravilloso.
Just the passion.
Peut-être Xbox dans une conf.
I feel very well.
Ouais, non, je trouve ça abusé. Franchement. Non, mais c'est des acteurs. Il y a des gens dans le chat, du live qui disaient que c'était des acteurs. Genre, toi, tu es Xbox. Après, bon, il y a pire comme tatouage. Mais bon, c'est aussi nul que celle de Sega. Bah, celle de Sega, il n'y avait rien. Rien. Il y avait un émulateur. Celui-là, au moins, on a appris 2-3 trucs sur les jeux. Bon. Et il y a eu du nouveau gameplay de certains jeux. Mais vite fait, hein, c'est rien de bien fou. Au moins ça. Bizarre, High on Life, c'est le jeu là.
There's a lot to talk about.
Let's dive in. So Justin, you're typically known for working in animation. What brings you into the world of games? Why are you in the world of games?
Yeah. I'm obsessed with games. Have been my whole life. Always had ideas, always had, you know, things I would love to make, but just never thought I could ever step into that arena because I lack all the skills needed.
You don't know how games work.
Other than like creative direction, creative ideas, like other than that, I lack all the skills to execute.
But that's why, like, that's part of why you want to start Squanch, right? Is like to be able to have an idea like that and let it grow to something amazing.
And to be able to be creatively free. I wanted to make games that I wanted to play, and that was sort of the spark that just lit the fire of Squanch Games. And then we shipped Trover, and we shipped Canton Plus, and now we're on this absolutely dream game. This is like our real legit swing at like a proper, you know, like we're indie, but like this is like our AAA, like, or is it triple I?
Les mecs ils ont fait quelques Morty, qu'est-ce qu'on en a à foutre?
Yeah, this is a triple I game.
So the story of our game mostly follows like Earth being invaded by this evil criminal cartel of aliens who come in and kidnap humans and start selling them on the black market like they're drugs. And you're the one human who has to team up with a talking gun and stop them.
And when you select a cartel leader that you're gonna go after, like, it opens the portal door to that world that they're in.
Can you tell us a little bit about the worlds of the game, the art style of the game, the visuals?
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time kind of constructing and creating these awesome alien worlds. Myself and Mikey Spano, who is our art director, him and I worked like a ton on the sort of art direction of the game. He really kind of landed in this space, which was kind of Blade Runner meets the Muppets. So we're trying to capture that feeling with all of our characters, especially our aliens. And then each world is its own kind of unique flavor, right? I think some of the ideas came from very kind of core thoughts. Like we want to have an awesome alien, like drug spa asteroid. And yeah, what makes me really excited is the sort of really clear and like it's almost deceivingly simple narrative, right?
So
Alec, who are the guns? What's their deal?
The guns are these talking alien Gatlians. They're all shaped somewhat like a gun you'd find on Earth, but they've evolved to be just gun-like in their own way. And so this race of Gatlians each has their own unique personality, their unique set of abilities. And you're going to be rescuing them from this evil alien cartel, and together you got to stop the bad guys.
And get more Gatlians.
Yeah, collect more Gatlians.
Mais je peux que dégager ça si soit j'enlève, soit il y a quelqu'un d'autre qui follow.
Depending on what gun they favor.
Yeah, you kind of pick your favorite companion to have out a lot and hear their dialogue, be part of different dialogue scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Look at us, blasting away!
And sometimes you can unlock the guns in a different order than another player has. So when you go back through a level, you'll see things that you would have been able to access if you'd done it in the other order.
That's
you can come back.
That's a huge one.
All right, so we talked about this crazy good game that sounds amazing. Why should people be excited to play it?
As a studio, we are attempting to bring A-level adult comedy into video games.
Something I love about Squanch is we would put a lot of effort into things that a lot of other studios wouldn't even bother with, like a single small joke that 5 players might find.
Non mais je t'ai dit, t'attends pas des trucs de ouf, là ça va être du blabla sur les jeux qui ont été présentés.
I love that stuff. I love like edge casing and like
avec de temps en temps un petit peu de gameplay en plus, mais c'est tout.
When players trying to break the game in a certain way and then you have an answer for that for them. That is like such a memorable and amazing moment. It's almost like watching TV, but the viewer is able to reach into the TV and poke a thing, and the character has to respond to that. And there's so much fun to be had for the most part.
You can skip it all. We worked really hard on it if you want to skip it.
Yeah, if you want to just like miss out on like, you know,
yeah, if you're like a big dummy and you don't want to play the game at all, that's fine. We're not going to judge you. We're just going to be upset.
Octobre. Ok, bah voilà, tu vois, il y a une nouvelle info. On n'avait pas cette info dimanche. Je sais pas que ça sort en octobre. C'est quoi ça?
This is gonna be fun. You know I can't let you leave.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Un jeu multi. 2023. Tu vois, il y a des nouveaux jeux. Après, bon, c'est pas des jeux de fou, hein. Mais t'en as. Pentiment. C'est quoi ça, Pentiment? Ah, c'est ce jeu-là! Oh là là! Oh non!
Pentiment is a narrative adventure game set in
Ça fait 10 fois qu'on le voit ce jeu-là.
Which is part of the Holy Roman Empire. You play a character named Andreas Mahler, who is an artist working at a Benedictine abbey. He gets involved in a series of murders and scandals and tries to unravel them over a period of about 25 years. The name Pentiment, it is specifically referring to paintings in which there's an older painting underneath the painting that you see on the top. And if you scrape away the top layer, you see what was left behind. This has a bunch of significance. Obviously, you're playing a painter, but also it has a lot of significance to the idea of history kind of being covered and uncovered over time.
Des combats dans ce jeu médiéval. Je suis pas
sûr. When I saw narrative-driven games with really distinctive art styles, I was inspired to make a historical game that focused on the unique art style of the early modern period that was really driven by the relationships between characters and the stories that played out over time. Hannah Kennedy was really integral to defining the art style of Pentiment, especially blending the late medieval illuminated manuscripts with the early modern.
Ils auraient pu finir par une grosse conf. Parce que finalement, sans compter celle-là, c'est la grosse conf, ça a été, enfin la dernière conf, ça a été Capcom.
True to the history, true to the feel of the source material that we were referencing as far as the narrative, but also thinking about the types of games that were like what we imagined we wanted as far as a gameplay experience.
Original mais gameplay bidon. Bah ouais, ouais, la DA est originale, mais après ouais, le gameplay, je pense que c'est juste un truc narratif, genre beaucoup de blabla et...
The buildings do change, but really it's the characters where you see all the crazy stuff happen.
Mais j'ai confondu, c'est pas ce jeu-là qu'on a vu 10 fois, c'est un autre. Il va sûrement apparaître vu qu'il était avec Xbox.
And then I felt a weird like emotional reaction to that because I'm like, oh, baby's all grown up.
I think the 16th century has always been really interesting to me because it was a time of such social upheaval.
Bon, mais je crois que je vais rester sur Witcher hein, pour le médiéval. Hein.
I think when we look at social change in the past, it seems like it's a thing that always happens outside of our time. But right now, I think we're maybe more aware than ever that social change is happening constantly. and people are always struggling with it. It's always a difficult process. And so I hope that by looking at people from the past, we can see that even though the setting might be different and the specifications might be different, ultimately we always struggle with
ouais, bah oui, j'ai
social
l'impression
change.
qu'il est dessus à la faire son jeu. En novembre. Tu sais que ce genre de jeu là, bah j'aurais déjà oublié hein, d'ici novembre. Du coup, je compte pas y jouer, je pense. Ah oui. Ce jeu là aussi qu'on a vu 10 fois. Il repasse le PowerPoint. C'est Quantic Dream mais avec peu de budget.
This is my favorite shot of the whole game. This one.
With As Dusk Falls, what we're trying to do is to make a brilliant interactive experience for anyone who loves brilliant storytelling. So people who enjoy films, people who enjoy TV series. It's also a social experience and about sharing these stories with the people you love.
I think we should stick to the plan. Yes.
Mais ça sur Netflix.
I took my inspiration from TV shows, prestige shows like, you know, Breaking Bad,
c'est une série interactive
I
quoi.
really love Dog Day Afternoon. It's such a wonderful setup.
You try that again, and every last one of them leaves in a body bag.
When you write for interactive stories, it's all about the stakes. You want big choices, the tentpole ones that everyone will remember from the chapter they played, but also you weave in the smaller stakes, the drama bit, like the relationships. Are you gonna stay married?
When you lost your job, this wall went up, and I missed you, okay?
The game deals with very mature themes that you don't normally find in a video game. It really gives you agency over characters that are relatable, that are familiar to you. It's like an interactive story, but with the power of video game behind it.
I only gotta yell and my brothers will come. Now hold your horses, young man. I think you should at least listen to what I have to say.
In the first book, it's mainly structured around a hostage situation in a motel in the middle of the desert in Arizona, so it's a pressure cooker.
You want your wife to live? Answer and do exactly what I say.
Par contre, ce que je trouve dommage aussi, c'est qu'on n'a pas eu de jeu vraiment next-gen en fait. Genre. Non, mais je parle de toute la Summer Game Fest. Hein. Si, de la merde. Si, il y a eu Callisto Protocol, là, le jeu dans l'espace, le jeu d'horreur dans l'espace, le Dead Space, et Scorn. Mais à part ces deux-là, il n'y a rien. C'est deux jeux sur une bonne centaine qui ont été présentés, voire plus.
Story and different endings, and you feel like you're actually achieving something and shaping the story. And
à la place, il y a des jeux.
Some of your true self comes out into that thinking.
I don't know, what would you do? I'll try to.
C'est encore une série interactive. Au moins, t'as des vrais acteurs. Bon, là, c'est des vrais acteurs aussi, mais t'as des acteurs qui bougent. C'est vraiment une diabo.
I think for me, one of the really important things was that this art style could tell lots of different types of stories. We want to take really beautiful, sort of subtle facial performances, really strong dramatic moments, and just really represent that, such that every frame is a painting.
It's a single player and multiplayer experience.
Ah, c'est un choix, c'est totalement un choix. Le mec il dit c'est une direction artistique qui est faite comme ça parce que blablabla. Il n'y a pas de budget, je pense. Je pense que c'est plus ça.
But this game really taps into your life skills rather than your gamer skills. Puts everyone on a level playing field.
You did well there. That is a ferocious job.
Tu joues avec un téléphone, bah oui, en même temps t'as besoin de manette pour un jeu comme ça, c'est vrai.
You share the same character. You discuss, you make decisions, and majority wins. It's like each player is like a voice in the character head.
Are you taking the money this time? I am definitely not.
Take the cash. It's been a massive journey, and I can't believe we're just like so close, touching distance to this game. Yeah, I'm gonna miss it when it's done.
Après, le visuel il est pas dégueu, mais ouais, c'est dommage que ce soit un FPS quoi. Alors, honnêtement, s'ils avaient fait un vrai jeu avec cette DA là, bon, ça va pas être. Mais
Slimes are waiting for us
Slime
in
Rancher.
the new vibrant world of Slime Rancher 2.
Mais il est pas sorti il y a 1000 ans ce jeu. Mon frère il y jouait. Ah non, ça va sortir cette année. C'est le 1 qui a dû sortir il y a 1000 ans. Mais ouais. C'est un jeu. C'est Animal Crossing mais avec des slimes. Pour te résumer. Ah tu vois qu'il y a de nouveaux jeux. Là tu vois la next gen là. Tu vois le Unreal Engine 5 là. Pas dégueu mais pas next gen. Non non c'est pas dégueu mais oui non c'est vraiment pas next gen. C'est pas dégueu pour il y a 2 ans, 2-3 ans. Et encore. Mais de même en cartoon il fait mieux que ça quand même. C'est pas. Enfin... Le jeu qu'on a vu avant là, le jeu avec les armes cheloues là. C'est plus beau que ça. Pourtant ça reste du cartoon. Après bon déjà le principe du 1 me plaisait pas trop. C'est vrai ça c'est un Animal Crossing mais avec des... Enfin pas un Animal Crossing mais un élevage de slime en fait. Tu dois aller choper des slimes et pour les élever quoi. Tu passes des enfants. Et le 2 c'est plus ou moins la même chose j'ai l'impression. Chronotone. Sur le Game Pass évidemment, comme tous les jeux qui ont été présentés. Je sais pas pourquoi ils le mettent en fait. C'est qui lui maintenant? Ah mais je le connais lui. Je sais plus qui c'est mais je le connais. C'est pas le présentateur de Xbox là? Il va aller dans un musée lui aussi.
Where's my Uber? Alright, let's go! Let's go.
Donc là on regarde un mec prendre un Uber. Voilà. Ah, voilà. Bah oui, ça faisait longtemps ça. Ça faisait longtemps qu'on n'a pas vu le FanFest. C'est la 3ème fois, hein, pour info. Ça fait 1 heure, ça fait 3 fois qu'ils nous montrent ça. Mais à chaque fois dans des villes différentes. C'était... je sais plus c'était quoi la première. Tellement c'était intéressant, j'ai oublié. Ça m'était voyager, montrer des trailers. Hein. Bah, je te jure. Mais c'est qui ce mec? Je sais, je sais que...
We are so excited to tell you all about Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels, the first expansion for Forza Horizon 5. So Mike, let's start with why the team decided to bring Hot Wheels to Forza Horizon 5's Mexico.
Our fans have been telling us for years about how much they loved Forza Horizon 3's Hot Wheels expansion. So we've been waiting for the right time to bring everyone another Hot Wheels adventure. Forza Horizon 5 presented the perfect opportunity to bring Hot Wheels to life like never before with the power of the Xbox Series X and S.
It really does sound like the perfect time for Forza Horizon and Hot Wheels. So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about what to expect being in the clouds of Mexico this time.
Yes, you travel to the clouds above Mexico to visit the Hot Wheels Park, which is comprised of over 200 kilometers of the fastest, most extreme tracks yet. Once there, you'll join the Hot Wheels Academy and set out to take on Forza Horizon's most extreme racing yet and prove yourself a Hot Wheels legend.
Let's go.
As well as the iconic orange Hot Wheels track, you'll take on new driving experiences across gravity-defying magnet tracks, as well as ice, water flume, and rumble tracks.
Ils ont fait Mario Kart. So we spoke loads about biomes in the build-up to Forza Horizon 5's launch. Are we expecting something similar in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels as well?
Yes, so we're truly going to see the power of the Xbox
Series X and S
when we look at Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels all new biomes. The amount of detail and diversity that we pack into the 4 new biomes is breathtaking. We have the rugged Giants Canyon, where you'll hear the growl of your engine bouncing back off the intricately detailed rock formations. The Ice Cauldron, where frozen tundra drips into the glistening molten lava. In Forest Falls, you'll see a tree canopy towering over epic waterfalls. And finally, the visually stunning and exhilarating Horizon Nexus, where the Horizon Festival is suspended among a web of Hot Wheels tracks. And there's more, because new players can jump into Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels as early as possible during the main game's initial experience.
And how are people going to be able to use Event Lab in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels?
So in Event Lab, you'll have the freedom to design, build, and share using the new Hot Wheels Creation Kit. That's over 80 new track and stunt pieces that instantly snap together thanks to our new building tools. You can then share your creations with the entire community for players to discover and play. We are anticipating our community building an ever-evolving catalogue of new player-created Hot Wheels events that everyone will enjoy.
They all sound absolutely incredible, Mike, but I'm going to ask you the most important question in the room. Can you tell me a bit more about the cars?
Yes, so we have 10 new amazing cars coming to the pack, including 4 new Hot Wheels cars, which have been scaled up to real-life proportions. We have the Diora 2, the Bad to the Blade, the Baja Bone Shaker, and the Chevrolet Hot Wheels Copo Camaro. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels introduces the most extreme tracks we've seen yet in Forza. So we've added some new extreme track toys and hypercars to go with them.
Love that.
I want to call out the Hennessy Venom F5 and the Mosler MT900 GT3. Their speed is unlike anything we've seen before.
So we know Forza Horizon 5 fans naturally love co-op, so how is that continuing in Hot Wheels?
So in a first for Forza, you can join up with your friends and play from the very start of the experience in co-op. You and your friends will then take on a new campaign, moving your way up through faster and faster car classes until you unlock the extreme speed of X-Class and become a Hot Wheels legend. You can also choose to take on the world in Horizon Open or team up with your friends to take on a team of drivatars in the Horizon Tour.
Ooh, I absolutely love that. Final question now though, when can we expect to play?
Yes, so Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels releases on July 19th on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Windows PC and Steam.
Mike, thank you so much for joining me. This has been so much fun and I cannot wait to play.
C'était ultra amusant. On sort le 19 juillet. Bon. Ok. Et donc Fall Guys. Qui est gratuit maintenant, Fall Guys. J'ai pas testé encore, faudrait que je teste. Maintenant qu'il est gratuit, faudrait que je teste. Après tout seul, ça a pas l'air dingue. Mais bon, faudrait que je teste quand même. Pour voir si c'est des tricheurs. c'est long là par contre. on a compris. Ah, ça va être un partenariat avec Halo. Des skins Halo.
Now, onto our next block, pun intended of course. Minecraft Legends is the action strategy take on the franchise you never knew you needed. I'm here with Dennis Rees from Mojang Studios, who has just released the world premiere trailer of Minecraft Legends. Dennis, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Malik.
So happy to have you. I mean, this is a really exciting time for the team. Let's talk Minecraft as a whole, though. That game, I have nothing to back this up, but I feel like everyone on the planet's played Minecraft at this point. But that wasn't enough for you all. You all went and made Minecraft Dungeons, and now we're moving on to the recently revealed Minecraft Legends. So one, tell me a little bit about what it means for the team to actually be able to reveal the game, and then two, just let us know what Minecraft Legends
ça rappelle, du coup, on n'a pas eu d'infos sur
We are
Minecraft
so
RTX.
excited to finally be able to talk about this game with the world. We've been working on this game for some time now. Minecraft Legends is an action strategy game is set in the Minecraft
On va mettre à l'épreuve
and in order to build this, we really wanted to partner with a great company that understands strategy games. And so that's when we reached out with Blackbird Interactive. And in doing so, we were able to create an experience that is welcoming for people who may have not played Minecraft, but also people who have. And I mean, you've seen the trailer. It's about going and traveling through these beautiful biomes, exploring this world that is familiar yet still mysterious.
Où les gens, où les devs, ils vont donner un peu plus d'infos sur les jeux qui ont déjà été présentés. Et de temps en temps, un peu de gameplay en plus. Mais il n'y aura pas de nouveaux jeux. Hein. Ou alors si, il y a eu Slime Rancher 2, mais ça va pas être des jeux de fou. Hein. T'inquiète, tu rateras rien si c'est pas...
with some unexpected friends because they're going to help you actually defeat the piglins and send them back to where they come from.
Mais du coup, ça veut dire qu'on n'aura plus rien d'intéressant c'est Summer Game Fest en fait. Il y aura peut-être un Nintendo Direct le 29 juin, mais à part ça, il n'y aura plus grand chose.
Well, really, it was many years ago.
C'est qu'en vrai, même je pense l'année prochaine, je suis même pas sûr de stream ces trucs-là, vu que ça plaît à grand chose, je pense. Hein. Parce que les gros trucs, c'est les gros devs qui les font. Enfin, c'est pendant les State of Play, pendant les Xbox, là, les Xbox. Il reste Xbox en fait. Parce que PlayStation, Nintendo, ils font leur truc de leur côté. Ubisoft font leur truc de leur côté. Bah les couilles.
Might follow Minecraft. If you go back to
d'ailleurs, il n'y a rien d'Ubisoft, vraiment.
And you look at the shirt that Jens Berenstain
même pas genre
you'll see a graphic on there. And it's in the shape of a badger head. And
dans
really,
un
that
mois
was
ou
meant
quoi?
to be an Easter egg for years forward, which here we are now.
Il n'y aura pas de conférence Ubisoft Forward en juin 2022.
Now, where would you say that Minecraft Legends fits in the overall Minecraft universe?
Well, the Minecraft universe is just always growing and expanding. And if it's not from our partner communities, and it's from Mojang specifically. Like you mentioned, Minecraft Dungeons. That's a great example where Mojang went out and we built this dungeon crawler experience in the Minecraft universe. And players love it. It's wonderful. And with Minecraft Legends, we're trying to do something similar, really.
En gros, ils font tous les types de jeux avec Minecraft. C'est longtemps par Games Week ont tué les conférences.
A whole bunch of new characters. And a lot of other things that I'm not ready to share right now.
C'est l'inverse en fait. C'est l'inverse. Là, les conférences type State of Play ou Nintendo Direct, c'est ça qui tue les salons. Parce que ça sert plus à rien. Pas forcément les salons, mais les gros événements comme ça sert plus à rien maintenant. À la limite, il reste la Gamescom éventuellement, ou par exemple, c'est à la Gamescom où ça a été annoncé les nouvelles consoles. Donc,
Dennis, I'm so excited to jump into Minecraft Legends. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us the lowdown.
Thanks for having me.
Mais oui, mais au moins pendant le 3, il y a quelques années en tout cas, il y avait des trucs intéressants. Là, depuis 3-4 ans, il y a rien de vraiment intéressant. Hein. Les trucs intéressants, c'est la Gamescom, mais je veux dire, le 3 et là, du coup, dans la Summer Game Fest, il y a très peu de trucs intéressants. Hein. temps en temps, il y a les State of Play, au courant de l'année qui balancent des infos. Ou Nintendo Direct du coup du côté Nintendo. Mais du coup ouais, suffit que Xbox se casse aussi. En soi, ça c'est pas une Summer Game Fest, c'est pas un gros événement, c'est Xbox, c'est tout. Pas cette conf là précise, hein, mais je veux dire le global. La Summer Game Fest c'est pas la Summer Game Fest, c'est la Xbox, Game Fest en fait. Genre en vrai, le gros truc ça a été Xbox, ça a pas été. On s'est pris la carotte Capcom, la carotte Sega. Si, il y a un petit set of play juste avant. Oula, il y a eu un set of play juste avant la Summer Game Fest. Je sais pas si ça fait partie de ça ou pas. Mais qui était pas mal avec FF16 et. FF16 je sais plus, je crois qu'il y avait que FF16. Mais genre, il n'y a pas eu de God of War, il n'y a pas eu de Forspoken, il n'y a pas eu des grosses exclus PS5, il n'y a rien. Donc en vrai, je sais pas. Il n'y a pas non plus de truc de ouf. Hein. Après, bon, au moins pour Xbox, c'est des jeux qui sortent cette année. Tout ce qu'ils ont présenté, c'est des jeux qui sortent cette année. Bon, sauf là, il y en a 2-3 qui sortent en 2023. Mais la plupart des jeux qu'ils ont présentés, c'est cette année. Donc, c'est-à-dire qu'en 2023, ils ont rien présenté. Donc, il y a moyen qu'il y ait des trucs de ouf en 2023. Mais je pense qu'ils le présenteront pas maintenant. Je pense qu'ils le présenteront genre à la Gamescom ou au Game Awards ou des trucs comme ça. C'est plus que c'était les confs là. Hein. Je pense que je vais continuer à jouer à des vieux jeux, à des jeux en retard pendant un moment. Putain, j'ai envie de me faire Hollow Knight. Ça m'a donné envie le DLC là. Mais allez, pendant une petite pause de Witcher 3, je jouerai à Hollow Knight. Les jeux non plus, c'est tout ce que c'était. Bah si, les jeux quand même ça va, il y a quand même des gros jeux qui sont plutôt sympas. Genre bah, le prochain God of War, Forspoken, c'était un nouveau jeu. Même Horizon 2 là qui est sorti là, il était cool, j'ai bien aimé. Ou comment il s'appelle là, bah Elden Ring j'ai pas joué, donc. Mais Elden Ring apparemment c'est bien. Enfin, j'ai pas joué. Non, il y a des jeux quand même qui sont pas mal. Après, les jeux que t'es présentés là, ouais, j'avoue que c'est plus du tout. Je me rappelle encore de la conf PlayStation quand ils ont présenté la première fois, c'était quand en 2018 je crois. Quand ils ont présenté la première fois, ils ont fait un énorme show où ils avaient présenté The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, enfin ils avaient fait un gros truc avec leurs plus gros jeux. Genre il y a peut-être 5 jeux, hein. C'était vraiment 5 gros jeux et ils avaient fait le show et c'était trop bien. C'est le meilleur E3 que j'ai vu. Pourtant, et depuis là.
Business models, tools, resources, all these provide choices and it's increasing these choices.
Après, ils avaient des grosses cartouches, j'avoue que PlayStation à ce moment-là, ils avaient des gros trucs. Mais là, ils ont encore des gros trucs. Ils ont le prochain God of War, ils ont Forspoken qui a l'air pas mal, ils ont FF16, ils ont. Mais... Bah, ils ont montré, mais c'est pas. Un peu plus. Surtout pour des jeux qui sortent en 2023. C'est pas non plus dans 1000 ans.
Like PAX or E3, and you would go to the show floor.
Mais qu'est-ce qu'elle raconte elle? Je suis même plus ce qu'elle raconte. Hein.
And the developer would be right there next to you, talking to you about their experience, asking you to try things out, asking you for feedback. And
bon, ça finit dans 15 minutes.
Bon, au moins ça. We just don't have them as much anymore,
ça finit dans 15 minutes.
in the way that the world has evolved. And so we thought, gosh, how can we make Game Pass like that? Like, how can we use the power of Game Pass, all of the great discovery and player engagement that is in it, and have it
non, après, en vrai, le Game Pass, c'est pas une mauvaise idée. C'est vrai que le Game Pass, c'est quand même un truc de ouf. C'est vrai que
something that they're really anticipating.
C'est sûr que pour pas cher, t'as accès à plein de jeux. Franchement, les jeux sont pas à toi, mais bon, sur Netflix, les séries sont pas à toi non plus. Et même sur Steam, en soi, les jeux sont pas à toi. Finalement, tu les as achetés, mais t'as acheté le droit d'y jouer, t'as pas acheté le jeu. Mais ouais, non, le Game Pass, c'est pas mal. Après, ce qui est chiant avec le Game Pass, c'est que moi, je joue à des jeux en retard. Le problème, c'est que les jeux qui arrivent sur Game Pass, en général, c'est des jeux qui viennent de sortir, et après ils se barrent. Le problème, c'est que du coup, je me retrouve comme un con à pas pouvoir y jouer parce que je dois y jouer tout de suite.
All the time, frankly, as Microsoft, as Xbox, in my team in particular, because creators is core to everything we do.
Bon, j'ai encore tellement de jeux sur ma liste que...
It enables you to experience.
D'ici que je termine tout ce que j'ai sur ma liste, il y a PlayStation qui va faire un Game Pass, il y a Ubisoft qui va faire un Game Pass, tout le monde va faire un Game Pass. Donc,
so the importance of everyone having an equal opportunity to share their story and their perspective through a game, and what it means to shaping our perceptions, to what we talk about, to what we believe, to broadening our perspectives. Is critical, and we think about that all the time. So,
par contre, je trouve ça marrant que dans le chat du live, les modérateurs ils suppriment les messages des gens qui sont pas qui disent que les jeux c'est la merde. Alors, bon, il y a des messages vraiment bâtards, mais il y en a, c'est juste ah, j'aime pas ce jeu, c'est pas ouf, tu vois. Et il dégage le message. C'est des bâtards quand même. C'est la chaîne Xbox, hein, c'est pas une chaîne de show, hein, c'est la chaîne Xbox en plus. Toujours le Game Pass Netflix du jeu vidéo. Ah, c'est ça? C'est le Game Pass? Netflix du jeu vidéo, c'est le Game Pass, hein. C'est le Game Pass Xbox. C'est déjà arrivé. Et là maintenant en plus ils ont acheté plein de studios. C'est ça. Il y a plein de jeux qui sont arrivés dessus. C'est ça. C'est juste que c'est comme pour Netflix. Faut jouer. Faut jouer à des jeux qui viennent de sortir. Après, c'est sûr que jouer à un jeu, ça prend beaucoup plus de temps que regarder une série, par exemple. En général, quand c'est des gros jeux. Du coup, imagine tu commences à jouer à un jeu et au final tu veux pas le finir parce que le jeu se casse. C'est un peu relou, ça.
And of course, if you actually want to get involved in the industry, all companies are great, but I highly recommend you check out coming to work at Xbox. I'm biased, obviously.
En général, les séries...
Every right to be so. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. And also, thank you to all the viewers for tuning into Extended.
Elle se barre pas de Netflix.
So many amazing developers on
ou alors des séries de merde.
Now, before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Genre
regarder une série, à la limite c'est genre 12 épisodes, ça te fait aller 12 heures, bon sauf pour Stranger Things. Stranger Things c'est l'exception. Mais ouais, ça te prend genre 12 heures, allez, max. Le problème c'est que 12 heures pour du jeu vidéo, c'est un petit jeu quoi. Donc ça prend beaucoup plus de temps.
And it was through that I got to know the team making Stalker 2 really well. And I actually got to
et même pareil, si tu veux revenir sur ce jeu-là plus tard, par exemple, je sais pas, il y a un DLC ou quoi qui arrive, ou juste tu veux y revenir dessus, tu veux pas, parce que le jeu s'est cassé du Game Pass entre temps. C'est dommage.
And their dedication to their culture and their country. And I thought, wow, this is a cool game. This is a compelling story. But sitting here today, you know, recognizing that team is Ukrainian, they were based in Kiev, looking at that story and what they were showing to the world just feels entirely different and far more poignant and visceral to me. You know, this is a team who's talking about their culture, talking about fighting for the existence of being a nation, of being a people.
Ah, elle parle des jeux qui ont été montrés des Ukrainiens là.
Now we all, as a world, have gotten to see how tenuous that in fact is. And it's an honor, frankly, to be part of this industry and to have the opportunity to uplift their voices and to let their story be told through a gaming experience, especially knowing what we know now about the situation in Ukraine. And as part of that, they actually shared with us something that they wanted us to share with all of you today as part of the show.
Attention, ça va être violent. Stalker 2.
1-1-3.
Yes. Pourquoi tu balances de la musique copyrightée là? Sérieux? Stalker 2, bah ouais, mais. Les jeux Stalker, apparemment, c'est pas mal. Hein. J'ai jamais joué. Mais pourquoi ils montrent ça? Ils montrent des jeux? Mais on s'en fout. Ok, c'est pas bien, mais. Je veux dire, c'est pas le. C'est pas le moment de montrer ça, quoi. C'est pas l'endroit pour montrer ça. Quoi à voir avec le Break Dancer et Stalker 2. J'avoue. On n'avait pas de musique.
Здесь кипела работа, идеи, она не останавливалась. 3 месяца назад началась война России с Украиной.
Mais ok, peut-être, mais bon, c'est pas. Ça n'a rien à voir avec le jeu vidéo, ok, oui, d'accord, c'est des qui. En Ukraine et tout, mais enfin.
Це переноска для мого кота, який
загинув ще
в перший тиждень війни. Виходиш вечором, сирена, выходишь днем, сирена. Днем еще работать надо, поэтому особо не выйдешь, а вечером все время вот так.
Це моє робоче місце.
Вже 3-й місяць я живу і працюю в коридорі. Зі мною живе одноокий пес, врятований з-під обстрілу в Гостомелі. Зараз мені важко писати квести про війну, коли вона йде на...
Mais à un moment, le dire t'es en guerre, le dernier truc que tu penses c'est faire des jeux vidéo. Je suis désolé, mais. Enfin, c'est pas le plus important là pour moi.
Ще побачить, наскільки
Je sais pas,
класна
comme des
культура,
priorités.
і в тому числі наскільки
Vraiment,
класні ігри ми можемо робити.
On s'en fout de ça. Allez.
Я являюсь сотрудником компании ЖСК.
Déjà que la conf elle était pas ouf.
Я смотрю. С начала боевых действий была потеряна связь с моими родными и близкими. И это непередаваемое ужасное чувство, когда...
Et la boum, plot twist, en fait, tout ça c'était un jeu. Ultra réaliste. En VR.
Я Дмитро Ясенєв, розробник Сталкера.
C'est le métier où tu peux
Ніколи
travailler
не
en remote et
уявити,
rester.
що в 21 столітті, в центрі Європи, може статися повномасштабна війна. Я Олексій Іванов, ком'юніті менеджер.
Peut-être, mais bon, je veux bien. Le truc c'est que faire des jeux vidéo, un peu le dernier truc que tu penses, en temps de guerre.
Побачимось на релізі. Слава Україні!
Qui résolvent le problème là, et après ils nous font des jeux. Mais là. Bon. Tout c'est pour nous sortir des jeux qui ont été présentés, comme ils ont été présentés la dernière fois, ils avaient l'air pas ouf. Et du coup, s'il y a Stalker, bah, je vais bien voir.
Last question, Dr. Dallin. Are you sure the perimeter surrounding the zone is really enough? If a powerful emission were to occur, we would...
Listen, the zone has remained stable for years. Besides, we didn't establish the most advanced institution in human history without first guaranteeing its safety. As the head of the Scientific Institute for Research of the Chernobyl area, or CERC for short, I believe the wonders that we will bring to the world far outweigh the potential risks.
How big are these risks exactly?
The zone reveals a whole new world. We can stick with the old one, fearing change. But tell me, do you want our descendants to remember us as cowards? Or as those who dared to venture forward to a new, better humanity?
Evacuated. I remind our listeners that a similar incident happened in our region quite recently, ruining homes and livelihoods. However, city officials urge people to stay calm, assuring them the situation is totally under control.
Ok, donc c'est bien Stalker 2. On a rien vu, on a vu une cinématique. Ah, c'est bien. 2023. Bah tu vois qu'il y a de nouveaux jeux. Voilà, des vrais gros jeux, des vrais bons gros jeux. Ah bah ouais, ils finissent par ça. Ah oui, de toute façon c'était terminé là, c'était 1h30. Bon bah ouais, ok, après Stalker 2 on a rien vu. C'était vraiment juste histoire de dire que ok ça existe, mais on a rien vu. On a rien vu de gameplay, je veux dire. J'ai jamais joué au 1, je sais pas s'il est bien. Pourquoi ils mettent une musique à fond là? Dégagez. Bon voilà, donc c'est terminé. Bon, du coup, ouais, c'était pas ouf, hein. Vraiment, y a rien eu. Vraiment, à part Stalker 2, le reste, et encore, Stalker 2, on a rien vu, c'était vraiment juste du gameplay. Après, bon, je m'y attendais en vrai, donc tant pis. Tant pis. Je suis pas hypé, mais bon, je m'y attendais, donc. C'est dommage juste que le mec au tout début, il ait parlé pour rien dire, quoi, sur Starfield et tout ça. Au final, on n'a rien appris de nouveau. Bref. Donc, bon, bah là, je vais les manger. Et après, on est parti sur du Witcher 3. Donc, je vais mettre en pause le live. Et je reviendrai après manger. Allez, à toutes.